Hey everyone, you know what's happening tomorrow? There is a massive event coming up that's absolutely crucial for the global economy and markets. And trust me, it's going to make some serious waves. This week is shaping up to be absolutely explosive, with so many moving pieces coming together at once. Here's something really interesting. Whispers and rumors are floating around that quantitative tightening might be ending very soon. And here's why that matters. When QT ends and the Fed starts printing money again, that's when things get really exciting. Remember what happened last time? Cryptocurrencies absolutely exploded. We've been through different market cycles before, and I'm telling you, I don't think we've hit the top yet. My prediction? Things won't get completely out of control until probably 2026. Now, let's talk about tomorrow, Wednesday. The big moment arrives, the FOMC rate decision. Right now, with just 16 hours to go, there's a whopping 99.9% chance that the Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points. But here's where it gets interesting. Some people are saying the Fed might actually hold and not cut at all. If that happens, we're looking at a genuine black swan event, because literally everyone expects them to cut. And honestly, I think they have to cut. They really don't have a choice. Here's a pattern I've noticed. Whenever the market confidence sits above 80% like this, the Fed almost always follows through. They're still playing catch-up though, and I genuinely believe there's a black swan event brewing that could bring everything down and potentially trigger a recession. When that happens, the Fed will have no choice but to print trillions. There's also another wild card in play, a potential US-China trade deal that needs to come out positive. The recent market sell-offs, they're mostly because of all this trade war uncertainty between the US and China. And don't forget about Friday. That's when we get the S&P 500 earnings report, which absolutely needs to deliver good news. Some people are saying this could be the beginning of something truly massive brewing in the markets. So here we are. The most critical week of the fourth quarter has finally arrived. In just the next few days, we're going to get crystal clear answers about rates, liquidity, earnings, and global trade. These are the four major forces that will determine how money flows for the rest of the year. The Fed meeting on Wednesday is already pricing in that 25 basis point cut. But what really matters is what Powell says after the decision. The key question everyone's asking, is this just a one-time adjustment, or are we looking at the start of a much deeper easing cycle? The game changer could be the end of quantitative tightening. If they confirm this, it means the Fed stops draining liquidity from the system. Instead of pulling money out of the markets, they'll start injecting massive amounts of liquidity back in. They're going to start printing like crazy. With all this in mind, how can anyone be bearish right now? We're not hitting the top until the UCT dominance chart absorbs all the liquidity from the lower regions. Take a look at this chart. XRP is showing serious strength against Bitcoin right now. But check this out on the UCT dominance chart. We won't see the top until this chart captures all of this available liquidity. Do you see what I'm getting at? The cycle peak hasn't even happened yet, not even close. And now we're starting to see all the narratives that support exactly this idea. Every major bull market begins with that one pivotal moment when policy quietly shifts from restriction to full support. This could be that exact moment we've been waiting for. Tomorrow might just be the day, right after Powell's press conference gives us the final word. Here's the thing that could change everything. Tone is absolutely everything when Powell speaks. If he acknowledges that we're making real progress on inflation, or if he mentions the growing risks to our labor market, which is seriously weakening right now with all these massive layoffs happening across major companies, that could signal the Fed's confidence to keep cutting rates aggressively. And when that happens, watch what unfolds. Bond yields will drop, the dollar starts to weaken, and all that liquidity begins flowing right back into equities and cryptocurrencies. It's like watching dominoes fall in perfect sequence. But wait, there's more. Just a couple of days after tomorrow, we're getting hit with an absolute earnings storm. This week is absolutely massive. We're talking about Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, Apple, and Amazon all dropping their reports.
Here's why this matters so much. These 5 tech giants alone make up roughly 1/5 of the entire S&P 500. If we get stronger than expected earnings from these powerhouses, we're looking at a serious rally in both the stock market and crypto market. And finally, there's still that potential trade deal brewing in the background. This is honestly an insane week. So many moving pieces all coming together at once. My advice? Prepare for the best, but also prepare for the worst. Tomorrow is when everything gets sparked into motion. The dominoes are all lined up and ready to fall. Mark your calendars. The Federal Reserve announcement comes at 2:30 p.m., followed by Chair Powell's live FOMC press conference. 2:30 p.m., that's when we get our answers. Are you guys ready for this? Now, here's another interesting twist in this whole story. President Trump still has Jerome Powell squarely in his crosshairs. Trump just announced that he might reveal a new Federal Reserve chair by the end of the year to replace Powell completely. So Trump is still pushing hard to get Jerome Powell out of the picture. But here's what I think is really going on. There are 2 possible scenarios playing out here. Scenario 1, Powell's role is actually to bring down the entire financial system as we know it. Or Scenario 2, he's genuinely here to benefit the people and act as the good guy in all this. But there's also a third possibility. Maybe Trump wants to install his own person so he can balloon everything into the stratosphere first, then orchestrate the collapse afterward. That could explain why he's so determined to remove Powell from power. If Trump succeeds, he gets complete control over the Federal Reserve. But here's where things get really interesting, and a bit concerning. Despite all these supposedly bullish events lining up, nothing is guaranteed. Yes, it looks bullish if all the stars align perfectly this week, but on the flip side, we're seeing some seriously worrying insider activity. Check this out. In the top 200 insider trades from just this past week, there wasn't a single buy order. Not one. Look at this data. It's sell after sell after sell after sell from companies across the board. We're talking about millions of dollars worth of selling, if not way more. We all know how insider trading works. One person gets the inside information, then spreads it to their network, and suddenly everyone's selling at the same time. And speaking of insider trading alerts, Nancy Pelosi just made a move that's raising eyebrows. She dumped up to $250,000 worth of Apple shares, marking her first major trade since June. Wait a minute, she just sold her Apple position worth $250,000. But isn't Apple's earnings report coming out this Thursday? The timing is very interesting. This could suggest she thinks the earnings might disappoint. But here's another angle to consider. Pelosi might actually be trying to trick everyone. Since people have been tracking her trades so closely and following her moves, maybe this $250,000 sale is just a small sacrifice to throw people off. She could be trying to get others to sell while she knows the news will actually be positive. So prepare for that possibility too. And then we have Jim Cramer weighing in on NVIDIA. And this is where things get really interesting. He just said, NVIDIA, own it, don't trade it. He's going full bull on NVIDIA right now. Now, what does that tell us? NVIDIA is basically the entire stock market at this point. It's the top performing stock driving everything. So when Cramer gets this bullish on the stock market, some people think that might actually be a warning sign that bearish times could be ahead. You know what they say, pack your bags, gather the kids, and head to the nuclear bunker. Some folks are even joking that Powell's going to absolutely tank the market tomorrow. If you're holding calls right now, well, let's just say some people think it's game over. But here's the interesting thing. While some people are expecting tomorrow to be bearish, there's actually a compelling bullish case too. The sell-off happening right before FOMC is exactly what the bulls want to see, and I'll tell you why. We've talked about this pattern before. Let me show you something on the XRP charts that perfectly illustrates this point. There's a reason I have these two charts lined up like this. We've noticed that before FOMC meetings, if they dump the market beforehand, they usually pump it afterward. But if they pump it beforehand, they typically dump it after.
Right now, we're seeing that pre-FOMC dump happening. But I've noticed something really fascinating with XRP versus Bitcoin that's worth paying attention to before tomorrow and the rest of this crucial week. XRP has been following Bitcoin pretty closely due to that recent dump we just saw. But here's where it gets interesting. Bitcoin keeps falling and doesn't seem to be stopping, while XRP is doing something completely different. Look at this. XRP just decoupled from Bitcoin right at this point. XRP is actually moving higher while Bitcoin continues dropping. Why is this happening? It's all because of this chart showing XRP versus Bitcoin. XRP is holding extremely well compared to Bitcoin right now. It's showing real strength. So what could this mean? Usually, when XRP shows this kind of strength and decouples like this, it could signal that they're price protecting XRP before a major market dump happens. They don't want XRP to just fall off a cliff with everything else. But on the other hand, XRP is genuinely showing incredible strength right now, so we need to prepare for both scenarios. This is exactly why I don't believe we've hit the market top yet, no matter what happens this week. Fed rate cuts combined with quantitative easing means one thing for crypto and stock markets. Everybody's going to win. The liquidity injection hasn't even begun yet. The real bull run? It hasn't even started. Do you guys realize what this means?
Everybody's going to win because you've got this easy money. You're going to get a rate cut, going to get quantitative tightening probably stopping. You'll get another rate cut on December 10th. You'll probably get another one to start next year in January. And then you're going to get a new Fed chairman in May that's going to want even more rate cuts. Right? So we've been through.
And here's the kicker. When Trump gets his own people into the Fed, that's when the golden age begins for anyone holding assets. He's going to install his own puppets, make everything rise to incredible heights, and then orchestrate the collapse. All of this is going to happen under Trump's watch. So has the bull run even begun? Absolutely not.
This scenario before in 2021, inflation went from 1.4% to 7%. And the S&P was up 27%. And so you're in that same exact environment where everybody's going to win, enjoy the party as long as it lasts, and then prepare for a hangover sometime late next year.
Right. I was just looking at the last time the Fed cut, Dan.
Trump himself believes we'll probably top out late next year, then see a major dump. But for now, extremely bullish. I genuinely think the bull run is just getting started. Some people might ask, how is that possible when everything has already gone up so much? But here's the thing. It really hasn't. If you were here during 2017 and other previous cycles, you remember coins doing 100 times to 1,000 times gains. We haven't seen anything close to that level this cycle, and I believe it will happen under Trump's leadership. Until that day comes, just stay calm, be patient, and let's see what unfolds this week. Get ready for tomorrow, whatever it brings. That's all for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.